Person one loves person two. Guess what? Shenanigans ensue. Person one hates person two. Guess what? Still shenanigans ensue. Person one fake dates person two. Guess what? You guessed it. Shenanigans ensue. Co-host one reports to co-host two. The name of the show? Shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Shenanigans Ensue.
A podcast where it's bad luck to start a podcast on a Friday.
Saturday. It's bad luck to start a podcast on a Saturday.
Tuesday.
No, it's Sunday, to be sure.
Fine.
Well, luckily we started this podcast on a Wednesday, so we're in the clear.
Yes, non-applicable.
Each episode will watch a rom-com and discuss its merits as a member of the rom-com genre.
We'll cover well-worn classics, hidden gems, and everything in between.
We'll give you our unsolicited opinion on every trope, caper, and flim-flam the film used, or maybe abused.
And of course,
the shenanigans!
Ba, 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 ba. So, we have a fun little treat for this episode.
As we all know, tomorrow is the 29th of Feb.
So, obviously, we're doing leap year.
I mean, we had to.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It has to be done.
I mean,
what, I'm going to wait another 4 years for this opportunity?
It was too good to pass up. The stars aligned for our Valentine's double feature.
Honestly, kismet. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
First off, who doesn't love Amy Adams?
I don't know. I could not point you to their direction.
I'm really excited to get her twice this year.
Oh, me too.
This film, okay, so obviously right off the bat, I know this film has interesting, mostly negative reviews online, but that's true of so many rom-coms.
Oh, yeah. We remember what A Cinderella Story's review looked like online, and that's one of my favorite rom-coms.
Yeah, that's insane. That is a very good... Okay, that's the whole thing, though, is I feel like this rom-com especially made me realize, I think, that not enough respect and admiration is paid to the rom-com genre, because this is an incredibly well-written and well-structured script that does not get enough credit, and so therefore, I have to believe that rom-coms are the hardest genre.
Yeah.
This has to be the hardest genre to actually be successful at.
I mean, it's not given any kind of credibility as a genre.
But this one I felt really strong. It seemed to awaken this realization that this is a underappreciated and underrespected genre that everyone needs to acknowledge as being extremely difficult. And these people are heroes. It's so hard.
I think it's the same thing with musicals that are movies.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talking about with the Mean Girls remake. In the trailers, they've hidden the fact that it's a musical.
Yeah.
And people are saying it's because people don't like musicals. And I'm a theatre kid, you're a theatre kid. I was surprised.
Yeah, same.
That musicals typically don't do well.
It's so silly. I don't know. I feel like I could go into it for so long.
Yeah.
But there's so many movies out there that win all of the awards. And in 2 years' time, we all realized that they were kind of garbage?
Yep.
And how many of these have stood the test of time so far? A solid amount.
I think we should have our own awards show specifically for the rom-com genre, Jazz.
Agreed.
I think this is the direction in which this needs to go.
We need a miscongeniality category specifically for the ones where everyone was delightful. We have to have the one where everyone did the most category. Yeah, we'll come up with something.
We'll figure it out.
So now that we've waxed poetic slightly, let's get into the plot synopsis. So we've got the lovely Amy Adams playing Anna. Anna has decided to fly to Ireland and surprise her boyfriend by following the Irish tradition of women proposing on the 29th of February.
Things go wrong on her travels, and she is stranded in a small village. There, she enlists the help of innkeeper Declan to get her to Dublin on time.
Shenanigans ensue! Oh my gosh. So, wow. This This woman is the single most unlucky person on the planet.
My goodness.
At one point, I texted Jane to say, can this woman please just find a 4-leaf clover or something already? Like, damn.
A rabbit's foot, perhaps.
Something.
Something.
Go kiss the Blarney Stone or something, girl. Like, this is not working.
Throw some freaking salt over your shoulder. I don't know.
Sage your house. I don't know. Do what you gotta do.
At first I thought it was a plot thing where it's like, okay, a black cat crossed her path and this is why everything's going wrong. But no, she had bad luck before any of that happened.
Yeah.
With not being able to get to Dublin in the first place.
And then it's like this Ouroboros of sadness because she keeps trying to over-control her life. And her wanting to over-control means that she set herself up for this extremely long journey when all she had to do was wait 24 hours for a flight the next day.
Girl.
I'm
so stressed by all the choices she's making.
Same.
She's chartering a boat in the middle of the storm.
This is a very good example of sometimes people just need to get out of their own way.
Like, leave stuff alone. Let things work out.
And we were talking about this too. Most rom-coms, the shenanigans arrive because someone is doing the most. There's a lot of circumstances where characters in the film have created their own woes.
Right.
Because they cannot stop meddling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for this film, every single bad thing that happens is kind of out of her control.
Yeah.
And so you feel really bad for her.
It's very sad. She just wanted to move the cows.
And she stays determined and chipper throughout. Bravo. Inspirational.
Undefeated. The weather thwarted her 3 times.
And again, because of that, I think we're going to be a little bit light on the shenanigans. But the tropes are many and fantastic.
Ooh, so many tropes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got
Uh-huh.
a type A versus a laid back. We've got a triangle. We have so many montages. Well used as well.
Very good montages.
We've got the subsection B of the girl put on your shoes to the girl put on your practical shoes.
Girl, put on your ever-loving practical shoes. I'm begging you.
Please, those look adorable, but you cannot be hiking up a mountain. Please stop. We've got enemies to lovers. We have very different worlds.
Yes, very.
We have the weather doing the most on multiple occasions, which I've been told is an Irish thing, so... Apparently that's just the thing that happens there. The weather is extremely unpredictable, so that's fun. We've got pretending to be a couple.
Classic.
Which is sometimes weird, but this one's really fun. We've got 2 people being forced to share a bed. Again, because of the couple thing.
Yeah.
The incredible, painful, excruciating, pressuring a couple or some other person to kiss. I could have done without it. I get it.
Yeah.
We needed it to happen. And I think this was one of the best ways people have been able to do it during a love triangle.
To get them to kiss.
Yeah. That doesn't make you feel icky.
Yeah.
But, oof.
We'll get into it.
We've got a fake out kiss.
Yeah, that turns gross.
And finally, a Jane favorite. Covering someone while they're sleeping.
So cute. Should I even pretend to ask, but Jasmine, where do you want to start?
We're going to start with the montages.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to let you finish, but you're going to montages, right? Okay, great.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading. The opening montage is so good. It is so good.
They're serving us a slice of this person's life. Look at my career, look at my personal life montage. Wow, we get the opening credits. Love that montage.
We're working so efficiently and effectively.
So efficiently.
In establishing who this character is. It's really well done.
And she is so poised, so put together. You can see her grasp everything so tightly and control so much while she's being sweet as can be.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And how she just very calmly says, reference to the person doing her fitting, there's a fine line between elegant and dowdy. Such a good opening montage.
You get everything you need, and then in we go.
A+.
And then we've got the incredible traveling to Dublin to surprise her boyfriend montage,
So
which is really
messy.
just like chaotic travel montage.
In complete contrast to the opening montage, now that I'm thinking about it.
I know, right?
She's just trying all these different modes of transportation and everything is shut down.
This stressed me out so much, though. I was like, girl, you would rather die. You would rather the plane crash than just waiting one more day for the next flight? Like, girl.
Because as she said, she has a couple days. It's not like it's the 29th tomorrow.
This just makes no sense. But I love it.
It must have cost her also so much more in the end than just waiting an extra night to get a flight.
She really was a money is no object kind of gal.
Yeah.
Dropping bank everywhere. But I mean, you should, since you're wearing City 120 platform sandals by Louboutin.
This is also true.
Jesus. I found the shoes, guys, because we were really impressed by them. Which I guess we should just talk about the damn shoes then, since we're here.
I was saving it for the shenanigans, but...
Girl, put on your practical shoes.
Girl, put on your practical shoes, please. I'm begging you.
By the third day of her wearing those shoes, I have to believe that she just didn't bring any other shoes. Which, why? You're that type A, you didn't bring another pair of shoes?
I can't believe that for a second.
No.
It's, first of all, why are we traveling in stilettos? Just in terms of safety, if you're going down in the plane, you're going to have to leave those babies behind in any case. They're going to puncture the life raft.
You're not allowed to wear them on the rafts and the slidey thing.
Yeah. I understand if like you want to look really put together at the airport and when you land or whatever, but do you not have comfortable shoes that you're changing into while you're on the plane? Don't tell me you're going barefoot on the plane. That's so unhygienic.
I literally was like, okay, fine. Plane, sure. You think you're going to get off and get in a cab. The next day, you know, you've gotten off the plane. Maybe you don't want to change your shoes right now. It's been chaotic. Okay, sure. I'll give you the first day. No problem.
Yes.
The next day, you've woken up. You think you're going to get in a car and you're going to get driven straight to Dublin. Okay, again, fair enough. By the time that car has rolled down the hill into a ditch.
And then into a lake.
And your Louis Vuitton bag has been fished out of it. You're telling me you didn't take the opportunity to take off your cow pie covered shoes. No one's making you start this journey in your heels.
No.
Girl.
No. And the amount of walking she is doing
mileage
on varying terrains, I can't get over it. Like viscerally, I'm feeling the clop, clop, clop on the tar. You know, there's a lot of impact that's happening.
Your poor heels, you're going to have to get those touched up by a cobbler when you get home. Think of the red soles. You're literally scraping the red soles off of these shoes.
And then hiking up a grassy, rocky hill to get to a castle and then running down it again in the rain. It's done. It's over. Your ankle is broken. Like, end of story.
I wish I had the kind of disposable income where I didn't care about fucking up some $600 shoes. Couldn't be me.
It bothered me so much that when she's trekked, we don't know how many kilometers, and has gotten to this pub where Declan is waiting for her, and instead of plonking down next to him because her feet would be sore, she marches straight up to the bar counter and then marches straight to the payphone. She's not taking a break. She's not putting her feet up. I'm like, are they magic Cinderella shoes? What is happening?
I don't know. I feel like that moment, I've never felt more seen, because that would be me also.
First thing, seat, yes please.
Well, that's the thing. For people who don't wear heels, if you've worn your heels for many hours walking, if you sit down, it's game over. Your feet are swelling. So you better stay on your damn feet until you're done for the day, because there's no coming back, okay?
I mean, just the restraint to not sit. I don't know. And then, irrespective of all the shenanigans that are happening with the heels in the movie, just what a freaking trooper is Amy Adams for
literally
shooting in those things for weeks.
Weeks.
On what are probably 12-hour days at the least.
Again, they're the City 120 platform sandals.
I'll post a picture in stories.
They're 4.5-inch heels.
Every single day.
They're gorgeous. I want them now, but oh no.
I mean, they're so cute, but not in the way she was wearing them. That's for sure.
It's a good reminder that, again, these people are heroes. I don't care what anyone says anymore.
Hats off to Amy Adams for shooting in those shoes. Bloody hell.
I can't.
I don't know how she did it.
I have a guess for which trope you want to do next, but I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, I know your guess is where they're doing the most, which we do need to cover.
Yeah, that's correct. That is absolutely it.
3 times weather is doing the most.
Thrice.
We have when Anna's flight is being completely derailed. That's the start. Then we have when, for some reason, this train that the guy said would be 2.5 hours magically appears
after 30 minutes.
Yes.
And then instead of just letting her run down the hill, they're getting pouring rained on.
With like full on mud, which leads to a whole host of other shenanigans. Then we have
surprise fucking hail.
Yes.
What?
And that was so funny because Anna is walking ahead of Declan and she keeps turning around because she thinks he's throwing stones at her or something. And then it starts full on hailing. Oh, and that leads them to like running to the church for shelter
and busting into a wedding.
Yes, like while blaspheming all over the place.
And then the happy couple are so generous and allow them to participate in the wedding festivities.
Way too chilled about the whole thing.
And then Anna's bad luck again ruins everything, so they have to leave and then sleep on a stupid bench in the middle of town. It's insane.
So that's my quick rundown of the weather doing the most. What is another trope you want to tackle?
After the second weather doing the most and she's covered in mud and they have to find a tiny little bed and breakfast, it turns out that the conductor of that local train station also operates a tiny B&B in the town with his wife. So they pop over and they have one room left, and before they can say anything, the woman says, "You're in luck. A couple of hikers came and tried to get the final room, but they weren't married, and I don't do that, so I sent them packing. You get it, right? So the two of them have to lie if they want a place to sleep."
It was very well done to bake that in.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's a storm or not. Proper is proper.
And so they immediately, like, yes, of course, we're a couple. The O'Brady Callahans. So they end up becoming the O'Brady Callahans. And I will say, they end up together at the end of the film. And I really hope that they both changed their names.
Yes.
And they became the O'Brady Callahans.
I love it. So while we're here, we may as well move on to the next trope, which is where they're forced to share a bed. And this was also like... It was fleshed out a little bit more because going into it, they're like, absolutely not. We're not sharing a bed.
Right.
No way. We'll flip for it. Where Declan screws Anna out of winning the bed. And then she realizes what he's done. So kicks him out to go sleep in the shower. Like, what is this bathroom? It's just like a hole in the wall.
Right.
Is there even a toilet in there?
I hope so. I don't know.
Is there a toilet in the house?
I don't know their life.
Anyway. And when it's time to turn in for the night, Declan is like, "It's really wet in there. Have a heart. Can I please share the bed?"
So they share this slightly larger than a twin bed.
It's so teeny tiny. You can't roll over in that thing.
No. Like, it's not quite a full.
Very small for 2 humans to be sharing.
Oh, I think it's important to mention that this is right after the incredibly uncomfortable pressuring people to kiss thing that happens at dinner with the other couple that are in the other room.
Yes, so there is a little bit more tension than they would have been otherwise because they shared a very passionate kiss.
Very steamy.
Very steamy.
And... okay, this is the most incredible choice anyone's ever made because during this very uncomfortable, like, sexual tension, we're sharing the bed now moment, they start playing Dream a Little Dream of Me. And when I tell you that they start with their backs and then they both turn and you can see the tension build in their face that they're thinking about that steamy kiss.
So
and then
funny.
the music, they punch the volume on that damn song.
They really
and they're
did.
like, still craving your kiss.
They hit it so hard. And I was singing along.
They literally turned the volume up. It was so intense.
It was so on the nose. And it was
delightful.
Amazing. And then I texted Jazz, they're going to wake up spooning. And they did.
And so you see this like transition that they're kind of starting to like each other. And it's so sweet.
Very
Declan
cute.
makes her a breakfast tray and then realizes that she's on the phone with her soon-to-be fiance. And he realizes like this is insane. That's something that I really appreciated about this film. These actors made the choices that made sense.
Yeah.
They didn't just run off with one another. He didn't just come over with the tray thinking he was going to make this work. Like the realization that she is currently in a relationship was present.
Because it is, or it can be, a little bit sticky with love triangles, as we've covered before, where they have to make the one corner of the triangle to be like a real asshole to kind of justify why the lead is running off with this other person. I think it's harder to do a love triangle where it's two very good choices and have to find a reason why one is just not as suited.
The genre needs black and white. You can't have shades of gray.
It's possible.
But people are craving the clear choice.
Yeah. With this, Jeremy wasn't as much of an asshole until the end, but you could kind of see why they're not well suited.
Yeah.
That scene really early on where they're walking after the interview for the apartment that they want and they're both on their phones texting, like sort of just talking past each other. Like, yeah, we're establishing. Even though they want the same things, they're not communicating. But yeah, they definitely, I think, handled the love triangle really well in that Anna and Declan didn't just run away together.
Oh, thank God for that.
I was honestly really expecting her to say no to Jeremy's proposal.
I was expecting it too. It's the most logical thing for the genre.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that they like let it play out.
It ties up the ending very quickly, but I'm really so grateful they didn't, like you said.
Yeah.
What's really fun, and I think this is a good place to transition into the shenanigans anyway. Shenanigans is that during the film, they're laying little breadcrumbs about what's going to happen at the end. There is a cute moment where Declan and Anna are talking about if your house were on fire, what's the one thing you would grab if you only had 60 seconds?
Yeah.
And you see this whole thing with the proposal happen at the end, and she says yes. And then they go back to their respective lives. The breadcrumb of him meeting up with his ex who's in the city because he wants to get the ring back. So we've got all the little breadcrumbs that they've laid. And then while Jeremy and Anna are having a dinner party to celebrate their new place, a fire alarm literally goes off.
I thought she puts it off.
I don't think she puts it off. I don't think it's her.
Oh, she didn't?
Only because of the way that she acted it. I don't think it was her.
Yeah. Okay.
She very well could have, but I think that she didn't pull it because then she spends an agonizing moment in the living room looking at all of the things she has, realizing I wouldn't take any of this. Here's the fire alarm, here's the moment, and I don't want any of it. And that's what sends her off.
So I have to now ask, of course.
Okay.
You have 60 seconds in the fire.
Oh,
what
God.
are you grabbing?
Oh, no. You think I would have prepared this, and I haven't prepared it at all. I think I would probably grab a family album, and I have all of my important documents that make life easier if you were to lose them in a fire in a fire-safe container, so I don't have to grab the house can burn down, and it can just find it later.
That's very efficient.
Yeah, really photos, maybe some board games. I don't know. What would you do?
Board games is so out of pocket. I was like, yes, I'm totally there with you with the photo album, but board games?
You dropped this on me. I wasn't prepared.
I'm so sorry. I thought you knew it would be coming because it's like a major plot point of the movie.
I don't know why I wasn't prepared, but what would you do?
Definitely photo albums. And then I don't have a fireproof container for my documents, but I do have them all in like a box that I will grab that box. And then I have a couple of plays that I can't get in South Africa and one that's been signed. So
God, yes.
Just going to my bookshelf and going just like...
My first edition books and the thing that I got signed by Robin Williams. Okay, yes. Okay.
So those are the things I'd grab.
Yeah. Oh, God. Amending.
The thing is. Like, our house wasn't on fire, but where we were living, there's a lot of fires, and it was like encroaching closer to where we were. So we were evacuating. And so we had to do the very real exercise of like grabbing the most important things. And it was literally that box, photo albums, and I literally took like a mini suitcase, like a carry-on suitcase, and filled it with plays.
Aww.
And my mum wasn't home, so we had to think like, what would she take? And she also has a box that I knew of that had important stuff and like letters between her and my dad and their courtship.
Aww.
So just like grab that.
Yeah. I'm sure she was very pleased with your choices.
Yes. And also unbothered. She's like,
Right, no, that's right.
Whatever.
That's the Sally that I've come to know.
Yeah. Grab humans, pets, and plants, which I suppose is the most important thing.
I love this. Later on, Declan and Anna, they end up at the inn and pub that Declan owns, and she surprises him. He storms off, and she thinks that that's a rejection, and then he turns up a moment later with the ring that was his mother's ring.
Very cute.
The little pieces that they put all together so that we can see two people are not going to just jump right into this after 2 seconds and she's in the middle of a relationship. She need to realize that Jeremy didn't even want to propose. He did it so that they would secure the apartment.
Like, look, even if this was the reason he proposed, you take that with you to the grave.
You made a choice. Live with it.
Yes. You have one of two choices, right? Speak to your significant other and saying, look, I heard from whoever it was on the board and they were intimating that we would be in if we got married. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
You have an honest and open discussion about it. Or propose and never, ever, ever, ever tell her this.
It's already the shittier choice to make. You should just talk to your person.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You made this choice, dude. Live with it. And that's how you know he's even shittier than you thought he was.
What was especially shitty to me about that was, first of all, why is he proposing in a hotel lobby?
Ugh.
Like, why? And then secondly, he says to her, I really missed you.
Ugh.
And it made me think, why aren't we married?
No, the board called you and wanted you to be married.
Exactly. That's a real dick move.
Ew.
Mm-mm.
So definitely appreciate the realism of all of it.
Yeah. The only thing with the realism for me is the very quick engagement on Anna and Declan's part. They've never been on a date.
Well, they're not actually engaged at that scene.
Oh, did you not say, will you marry me? Did he just say, will you make plans with me?
Yeah, well, that was her thing. I don't remember if he actually said that. I mean, they got married quickly regardless.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they were doing this cute thing first.
Maybe it's something to do with the cliff and being down on one knee. That felt like a marriage proposal.
I mean, ultimately it was.
Yeah, so that was my only thing with, like, the realism. Although, people do it.
Yeah. And she felt strongly enough that she flew back over there and literally threw a grenade in her life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a quick shout out to Caitlin Olsen, who played the best friend. Love her, by the way. She's hilarious. But she did such a good job being such a shitty friend that it's like, yeah, if this is your best friend, like, you don't need to stay in this country.
Yeah, you need a clean slate.
It's time to go.
She's definitely not winning the best friend award in our awards show.
No, but it's still an excellent portrayal of a, quote, best friend. They're always supposed to be extra. She's just extra and, like, doesn't actually care about anyone.
Oh, the shenanigan I want to talk about, which was really fun, was when Anna sort of bursts into Declan's pub and is looking for a cab service. And he doesn't say anything. We don't hear his voice.
I love this.
He just hands her the business card. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you. Goes over to the payphone. And Declan goes off in the back. We as the audience know it's happening, but it's still really funny to watch it play out.
Yeah.
Where it takes Amy Adams a while to figure it out.
We don't drive American redheads is the funniest thing. And she's like, wait, what? How do you know my hair color? And like still hasn't put it together. It's so funny.
Yes. When he comes out and she does get it, it's so cute. She continues to talk on the phone. It's like her brain is struggling to catch up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what are we doing? That was a really fun one.
Oh, since we're talking about how incredible Amy Adams is at playing like naive in a precious way, her practicing her fake engagement face when her friend tells her at the beginning, So she shows up at this dress fitting, and Caitlin Olsen's character is like, I saw him at the fancy jewelry store. You're getting a ring, girl. I'm pissed. It's going to be nicer than mine. And then Amy Adams is like, oh, well, I have to practice my surprise face. And so she like turns and does way too much.
Yes.
And then she turns and does a little too little. And she's like, wait, is it the eyes, bigger eyes? And just over and over,
it's
the sweetness.
Amazing. But just the masterclass in making adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a 5-second bit, maybe. And she's so good. I love Amy Adams.
And it's so sweet.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel overly practiced when she's doing it. It just looks like she's preparing.
Yeah.
Because she loves so much. So cute.
Love her.
Another shenanigan that I super loved was the fun little constant of the rule of threes of these older gentlemen who practically live at the pub.
With their superstitions.
Their superstitions. They keep coming back with different superstitions. They do the one at the beginning about travel, which we quoted at the top. They do this one about black cats crossing your path. They have another one at the very end about getting engaged, when and how. It's so funny, and they always do the same order of the three men.
And they can never agree, and they cannot keep it straight.
Yeah. Anna constantly keeps saying how she doesn't believe in any of that. But like, girl, based on this trip, you should start believing.
You should start doing some counter superstitions to stop your bad luck, because it's out of control. Another shenanigan I really like is when they at the train conductor's inn at the dinner table, Anna slips up when she's complimenting the chicken, and she says, yeah, this chicken is so great. Jeremy always tells me that I make it too dry. And they're at the table and like, who's Jeremy? And Declan comes in and he's like, oh, it's our neighbor.
So good.
And he's just like taking all these jabs at Jeremy.
It really is. And he's making these funny jabs, and he's not wrong throughout the film. At one point, he's like, so tell me about this fiance of yours or whatever. And she literally can't come up with anything.
No.
The nicest thing she can say is, he's a cardiologist. Girl, that's not a character trait. That doesn't tell me anything about him as a person. Oh no.
But then how Declan like throws it back. He's like, yeah, shame, he's a bit like off his rocker. He thinks he's a cardiologist.
Yeah. At the dinner table. It's so good.
I think he has a teeny weeny. Like, he's really coming in there with the jabs.
I know. And I mean, he should, though. Being a doctor is not all that special, and he acts like he's too good for everyone. It's so funny. We love you, Adam Scott. Amazing acting.
I know. I was so surprised to see Adam Scott in this movie. I did not know that he was in it.
He's so sweet.
He's so good.
To play kind of a weird douche is very funny.
One thing I want
really
to talk
love.
about.
Oh,
No, you go ahead. I'll remember it because it's in capital letters on my script.
it might be the same one. Okay.
Okay.
When they're getting ready to travel, after she's been at the pub, she goes to grab her Louis Vuitton bag. She has a Louis Vuitton suitcase, and she goes to put it in the trunk. And she's like, be careful, it's a Louis Vuitton. And he misunderstands. He goes off about how she's named the bag. She's absolutely insane. And then at the end, they literally reference the bag as Louis.
They just start calling it Louis.
Yeah. She's just like, wait, where's Louis? He's like, oh, he's on the roof. She's like, oh, he's going to get messy up there. And it's just, now the bag is a character.
Yeah. She named a bag. She's a crackpot.
Oh, yeah, that's the quote. It was so cute.
Just the confusion, like demonstrating the different worlds. We didn't talk about it, but this is one of the ways it came up. Louis Vuitton. He's like, what the hell? It means absolutely nothing to him.
So good.
The one thing I wanted to talk about is kind of a PSA as well.
Ooh.
When those masks drop on the plane, you know, they always say,
oh, yeah.
please assist yourself before you help others. I don't know if the masks drop when you don't lose cabin pressure, but I spoke to a family friend who is a pilot, and he says, you have seconds to put that over your face before you lose consciousness.
Oh, shit.
So that is really, really why they emphasize to help yourself before helping others, because it's like, it's seconds that you have before you are just like knocked out.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. But to reassure everyone, he flew for many decades and he's never once been on a flight where that has happened. So
Yeah.
you fine.
But like now I'm going to remember that, and every time it happens in a film, I'm going to be like, you are all passed out now. Dead. All dead. While the actors are still talking and the masks have dropped.
Yeah. That's why it bothered me so much. Like, I have to ask him again, is it possible for the masks to drop when everything's fine in terms of oxygen? But I was just like, you were all passed out. How are you still having conversations?
Yeah. That's so funny.
Is there another shenanigan you want to address?
I had maybe two more that are both related to the writing of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Again, structurally, this is an A+ script. The first time she steps in the cow poo, they make a joke about throw them in the wash, they'll be grand.
Yeah, that was a good running joke.
And then again, she vomits on his shoes, and he says, you're going to buy me some new shoes. And so she says, throw them in the wash, they'll be grand. And then at the end, the Louis Vuitton, he's going to get messy up there. And he says, throw him in the wash, he'll be grand. And so we've got so much fun structure. And even something as simple as slowly through the course of the film, you figure out why the characters are the way they are, which rarely do rom-coms even bother addressing these issues.
Yeah.
But it's good to know why people are neurotic in the way that they're neurotic, right? We all have reasons for the things we do.
Yeah. It makes so much sense.
And it was very satisfying to figure out that she tries to control everything to an annoying degree because she was set up in a very bad position as a child because of her deadbeat dad. So the fact that they lost their house when she was a kid, despite her working multiple jobs to try to keep them in it, all because her dad couldn't stop gambling and risking the money on bad investments.
Yeah.
And then if you think back to the beginning of the film, you realize that they peppered that in at the beginning. You've got a drunk dad played by John Lithgow, showing up at the bar to see his daughter.
Who is amazing. I love him.
And he's at least an hour late, is the impression we're getting from it.
Yeah.
And so Dad is very, very late, and she takes it like a champ, even though he does this all the time, right?
Yeah.
You've got Declan being a miserable hater of love because he got his heart totally demolished. And so getting these little pepperings of information and then all of it coming together at the end of the film is just like incredible structuring and needs a shout out.
It's very satisfying because even at the top when she has this conversation with Dad at the bar and she gets up to leave and he's like, what? I just got here. Usually in movie magic, she's like, yeah, but I gotta go. So I'm sorry. I thought it was just going to be one of those things.
Yeah.
But no, she says, you were hours late. I have dinner plans. And I was like, oh, that's really good. And then not even knowing it's going to pay off further that it's actually part of her character development. We see that.
They don't give you any indication during that scene
that
there's a reason why you're hearing this.
Absolutely.
It's so nice.
Yeah, it's satisfying.
I really can't say enough nice things about the structure of the script.
Absolutely.
I'm done with my shenanigans, so take her away if you want to hit one last thing.
Killing the chicken. That's the one I want to end up. So Declan has offered to cook for everyone after the wife has said that tripe is going to be for dinner. He quickly sidesteps and says, well, what about I do some chicken? And they are harvesting some of the fresh produce in the garden. And we have like this very funny thing where Anna is measuring the carrots very neurotically.
Yeah, too much.
She's like, well, this recipe says 3 medium-sized carrots. These 2 are medium-sized carrots, but this one is a bit longer. And like debating and going back and forth. And Declan just like grabs the carrot, breaks a pot off. And he's like, there you go, 3 medium-sized carrots. Anyway, then he asks her if she's a vegetarian and she says, no, she's not. And he's like, oh, okay, good. And he goes and grabs a chicken. Like he's standing very close to her for this to be happening. And she's sort of like, oh, so sweet. And then we don't see it, but he just like wrings the chicken's neck and obviously kills it.
Yeah, he just snaps the neck real quick.
Just like out.
And I was like, girl, what did you think he was grabbing the chicken for?
Exactly. That's what I was also thinking.
He literally says, dinner 1, chickens 0.
Like, what did you think was going to happen when he caught the chicken? Was he just going to show it to you?
We're going to pet it. It's our friend now.
Yes.
It's coming to Dublin with us.
They did not need more chaos on that journey. And then he asks her, well, have you had chicken before? And she says, yes. And he says, well, where did you think chicken came from? And she's like, the frozen section?
Girl. Clearly she has never heard of conscientious consumption.
Yes.
She has no idea where anything comes from.
But the fact that she was surprised that this is what he's doing was very funny to me.
So funny.
But it was also kind of funny that he's like standing very close to her with this chicken. Does he even have space to properly move his arms to do that motion? It's very close.
That was a bit shocking. I loved that he did that, though.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of needs that. That's why I think that they're actually a great couple. Even the digging at each other at the end in the front seat of the car.
Yeah.
This is clearly filled with love and, like, silliness. But, yeah, you need somebody to kind of check you.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that about them.
That's it. I'm done.
So fun. Oh, gosh. Speaking of, it's time for Fun Fab Fail.
Fun Fab Fail.
I feel this is a solid fun. I think that structurally, this is an excellently written rom-com. We have a ton of rule of threes. We have realism. We have lots of the things that I need and want.
For me, it's a fun, but like a leap year fun. So like every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite of the funs, but it's a good, solid movie.
Yeah. I even would be willing to watch it again more recently than that, just to see if I missed anything structurally, because they really did put so many good little callbacks.
Yeah.
For all I know, I missed something. So
yeah, it's solid.
It's well done. And like you said, I wouldn't be mad if someone wanted to watch it.
No. For me, I think a lot of my reservation in terms of giving it like a higher fun is that there was something missing for me in terms of a little bit more magic or a little bit more whimsy.
Yeah.
I think maybe the two of them, their chemistry, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't sizzling. They had some very good moments. In fact, my favorite moment between the two of them, chemistry-wise, is the last scene where they're married and are bantering with each other.
Yeah.
Like that to me was when the chemistry was the strongest, and their first kiss at the dinner table. But yeah, we've spoken about this before where the pacing at the beginning was a little bit slow. For me, there was just something missing. But structurally, very, very good.
Yeah, and for me, it's like a grounding thing. They are so grounded. The not running off at the end, actually accepting Jeremy's proposal, all these ways where the film was very realistic. I think in that tiny, tiny way, it hurt itself because I think if the stakes had been higher, if they had been a little bit goofier, if there had just been a little more energy infused to the relationship from the beginning, we may have gotten that last little bit of whimsy we were looking for.
Yeah.
But I don't have complaints necessarily.
No, I don't mind at all the fact that the proposal played out quite realistically. I think it's just a little bit of energy maybe missing throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like it needed a little bit more of a whew, whew.
Yeah. The stakes
yes.
and the energy and the commitment to the jokes needed to be maybe slightly higher. Yeah, it's just that last little bit of whimsy was missing.
Yeah. But overall, solid movie.
Yeah. So that brings us to our favorite moment. Give me the cheese, please. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready. Okay. 3, 2,
2,
1.
Pre-grated
Kerrygold Dubliner.
cheese. Aww. For a local.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we had a guest last episode, so we can just start wherever we want.
Flip a coin. Heads, you go first.
Okay, so that means I'm going first. So I went with Kerrygold Dubliner. I'm a big fan of the Kerrygold butter. I use that at home myself.
It's very good.
So this was a very easy pick for me. And I went with the Dubliner because, obviously. But the reason why it works so well is because this is a very smooth, not too aggressive in any direction cheese. It's firm, it's solid. This was for me, not an excellent fun, not a soft fun, a solid fun. And you have a little bit of a sharpness, like how I thought the script was tight. We've got a beautiful natural rind, like how they gave very naturalistic performances, very grounded. You've got a slight nutty quality. We love that because this was a little nutty when you think about how goddamn unlucky this poor woman is. And it's crystalline, which means it has some of those little cheese crystals in it, some of that crunch that you get. And for me, that's like how love triangles are always a little crunchy. I don't really. I'm just like,
yes.
But ultimately, you end up with something delightful, something that I would not say no to. And therefore, it's a Kerrygold Dubliner.
Yay! So I went with pre-grated cheese because...
Which one?
Oh, a mix.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I feel like pre-grated cheese is time-saving. Like, it's very practical in that way. And I feel like this movie, in terms of the script especially, was very practical. It was well thought out. It was well laid out. And that's how I feel like pre-grated cheese is. It's no nonsense. You don't have a lot of time on your hands, so you need to get things done. And there's a lot that you can do with it. Like, you can maybe put some on a hang sandwich. It very much serves in a pinch, but it's always better to grate your own cheese.
Facts.
Because the melting point is lower when you grate your own cheese. There's also less preservatives in it, and it's cheaper. So this movie was really solid, but it could have been a little bit better had it been grated at home, if that makes sense. But still perfectly good, perfectly respectable, very versatile, and like efficient.
Yeah, that's so good. These are less funny cheeses this week. They're just very efficient, like the film.
Yes.
These were very clear.
Yes.
There was a plan.
Very grounded.
Excellently executed, the two of us. Bravo, golf claps.
Yes.
Well, everyone, there you have it. That was our discussion of Leap Year.
Let us know your thoughts on the movie, any shenanigans we may have missed, or what cheese you think it is.
You can follow us on Instagram at shenanigansensuepod, or you can email us at shenanigansensuepod@gmail.com.
We hope you'll join us next time, and until then, have a little faith that it will all work out. Bye! The panic grabbing of board games.
The board games are also in the bookshelf, so like maybe that was my brain saying bookshelf. I don't know why.
I just go with like a suitcase to the bookshelf and just like take your arm and like do a sweep.
Tell me why you asking the question made me feel like my house was actually on fire.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's so funny. I was just not
prepared.